Right. Good afternoon. And I do hope that everyone can find a chair. So, dear distinguished guests, thank you all for joining us today here at the Larive Hotel in Dhaka. And I'm fully aware that it wasn't quite a journey for you to come here due to the unforeseen traffic in Dhaka. But okay, this is foundation, and I think we all have to be a bit more flexible. So it is a pleasure to have you here at the roundtable session organized in cooperation with PIOP, the Dutch Embassy in Dhaka, co-hosted by Larive and LightCastle. My name is Matthias, and I work for Larive International. And together with my colleague Zahed, I'm your chair and co-host for today. Today's agenda is that we would like to welcome first our guests, followed by a brief presentation on the PoultryTechBangladesh program. And following, we'd like to give you shortly the floor to introduce yourself, because we're very pleased that you are here today, and we'd like to learn a bit about yourself, a brief introduction. And then, of course, our key event for today is the roundtable session itself. So after the speeches by the selected speakers, we would like to open the floor and learn about your perspectives on the poultry sector in Bangladesh. As we see this session today as important input for the roadmap for the next 10 to 15 years for the Bangladeshi poultry sector. And maybe taking you back shortly why we organize these events. I think during the course of the past year, we had meetings with various industry leaders. I'm very glad that Mr. Khaled, for example, is here today. So with him, we discussed the necessity of bringing together industry leaders, policymakers, financial institutions, to learn together, to share ideas, what is necessary to move forward the poultry industry in Bangladesh in order to facilitate sustainable growth and development of the industry. Having said, I would like to give the floor to my colleague Zahed, who will introduce today's speakers. Zahed, thank you.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. We are really glad to see all of you here. Today is a working day, and we know all of you have a very busy schedule. We are really grateful to have you with us. We have a group of very distinguished speakers today. We also have our industry colleagues coming in as well. So we will also do the round of introductions in a while. We have Mr. Thijs Woudstra, our charge d'affaires for the embassy of the Netherlands, who will be here as the chief guest. From the government, we have Mr. ABM Khaled, Director of Production of DLS. We also have Mr. Dr. SM Zobaidul Kabir, who is the Joint Secretary at Ministry of Fisheries and Livestock. From the industry, we have a number of speakers. We know that Mr. Moshiur Rahman is on his way; he would be here soon. But we are privileged to have Mr. Shamsul Arefin Khaled, President of BPICC, and also the Director at Paragon Group. And from the development sector, from multilateral development agencies, we have Mr. Amadou BA, who is a senior agricultural economist, who has kindly consented to be here for the roundtable discussion. We welcome you all. We all welcome all of you from the industry as well. So there's a space. Before we go on with the discussion, I would request all of you to briefly introduce yourselves, maybe mention a bit about you. So don't take more than 20 seconds because we have a lot of speakers. So your name, your designation, and your organization. So I'll start from here on the side.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Brienen, and I'm the Managing Director of ACI Group.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Amadou BA, Associate Vice President.
Good evening, everyone. Dr. Rashid Kupo, National Research Center on Health Health, Bangladesh. Assalamualaikum and very good evening. This is Mr. Head of Procurement. Assalamualaikum and good evening. My name is Shamil. I'm Chief Operating Officer of Keynote.
Assalamualaikum, good evening. I'm SLN Limited, Managing Director and General Partner.
Good evening, everybody. I am Usman Harni. I am working as a senior policy advisor looking after agriculture and food security in the Netherlands embassy, Dhaka.
Everybody, Assalamualaikum. This is the Long Harni, Chief Technical Coordinator, Livestock and Dairy Development Project, PLS.
Good evening. This is Co-founder of LightCastle. I am from Netherlands as a deputy.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Armand. I'm the country coordinator for Poultry. Hello, everyone. I'm Alba coming from Spain. I'm the technical manager for the genetic software.
Good evening, everyone. So I am Ilan, sales manager for Asia for Sasko for the color chicken.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Nurul Bashar Sarkar. I'm working in Nourish Poultry Limited as a project coordinator.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Shahid Hussain. I work with Anti-Genetics company. It's a breeding company. I work with color chicken and their breeds, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and Nepal.
Assalamualaikum and good evening, everyone. My name is Moshiur Rahman. I am the Director, Finance Risk for Quality Feeds Limited.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Mohammad Shahjahan, General Manager, Ion Feeds, Ion Group. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum. Good evening. I'm Mohammad Razibul Haq, Assistant Manager Administrator, Iho Feed Bangladesh Limited.
Assalamualaikum. I'm Mohammad Sanwar Hussain, Production in charge, Paragon Group.
Assalamualaikum. I'm Yungkul Ahmed, Assistant General Manager, People's Poultry and Hatchery Limited.
Assalamualaikum. I am Muhammad Abdul Mannan, Manager Nutritionist, Moshiur Group.
Assalamualaikum. My name is ATM Habibullah. I am working as CEO at Architect Limited.
Assalamualaikum. My name is MD Hasanul Jaman, Director and CEO, Expect Executive.
Good afternoon to you all. I'm Shahbaz Habib. I'm Director of Planet Agro Limited, and I'm also the General Secretary of Breeder Association of Bangladesh. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum. I am Mohammad Abu Saeed, AGM Action Unit.
Assalamualaikum. Good evening. I am Mohammad Zahedul Islam, CEO of Bangla UK Agro-Products Limited.
Assalamualaikum. আমি Engineer Gidarul Alam. আমি Senior DGM Operations, PoultryTech Limited. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum. I'm Shahida Trisha, Director, Founder of Poultry.
Good evening, madam. Assalamualaikum. I am Isham Shahjahan, Managing Director, Quality Feeds. Assalamualaikum. This is Dr. Arefin Khaled, Director of Production, Department of Livestock Services. Primarily, I have been looking on administrative and technical areas of all governmental funds, and at the same time, I have been leading the policy formulations and other regulatory enforcement activity on behalf of the US. Thank you so much.
Assalamualaikum. Shamsul Arefin Khaled, Director, Nourish Poultry, and also the President of BPICC and PR.
Good afternoon to you all. Thijs Woudstra, Deputy Head of Mission Development, Dhaka.
Good afternoon. This is Dr. Zobaidul Kabir, General Secretary, Fisheries and Livestock, under Poultry sector, Livestock sector, in terms of policy execution or policy. Thanks.
Good afternoon. My name is Amadou BA. I'm Senior Agriculture Economist at Poultry.
Assalamualaikum. I'm Moshiur Rahman, MD Paragon Poultry, President World Poultry Sciences. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Dr. Amjad, working as sales manager for Nutric or Crown Nutrition Company.
Assalamu alaikum. Good evening. I'm MD Ariful Haq, Senior Manager Nutrition in Java, Bangladesh.
Assalamu alaikum.
Arifur Rahman, Country Head, Momita Limited, Bangladesh.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm Amadou Rahman, student of Dhaka University.
Hello everyone, this is Fahim. I'm a student of International Trade and Business at University.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Mohammad Sajjad Hussain. Actually, I'm working as advisor communication and media with the Bangladesh Poultry Industry Central Council. Thank you.
Well, thank you all. What a fantastic lineup. I think virtually all the larger players from the industry are here represented. We have financial institutions, associations, universities. So I think we are very much positioned to share views on what will be the next steps for the next years to develop the poultry sector in Bangladesh. Prior to giving the floor to our distinguished guest speakers here, my colleague Zahedul and I would like to give a brief introduction on the PoultryTechBangladesh program. What is the purpose? What are the activities ongoing? What's foreseen? And Zahedul, I think you also like to share a few words on our perspective of the industry and what we've been seeing as key challenges, and then going over to the speakers. So, in order to present this, I think we have a presentation which we can share on screen. And what I will do, I'll just send over there. So meanwhile, while we're starting up the presentation, maybe for today's roundtable session, how we would like to proceed is that after this short presentation of the project and the time we have allocated for distinguished speakers, we would like to open the floor, but we also have people from the Netherlands, from the poultry sector who are joining us online, and they also can, we would like to urge them also to share their questions with the audience here. So that's for later today. Maybe over to the slide deck. So I would like to enlighten you a bit about PoultryTechBangladesh, the project itself, and what are the key purpose we have. Yeah, there we go. So, indeed, 18th of November, Dhaka. Right. PoultryTechBangladesh. We have launched this initiative in 2021, a public-private partnership, meaning a combination of private sector initiatives combined and backed by the Dutch embassy in Dhaka and the Netherlands Enterprise Agency. So we joined forces, companies, private sector players from the Netherlands and Bangladesh, all having the ambition to contribute to sustainable development of the industry for the longer term. So we are proud that we have been able to bring together leading companies from both the Netherlands and Bangladesh, active in different steps of the poultry value chain, all with a common goal, contributing to the sustainable development of the industry. And we are pleased that the government of the Netherlands, both the Netherlands Enterprise Agency as well as the embassy in Dhaka, have been able to support us with realizing these ambitions. So what have we been doing? Maybe starting with our key objectives. We want to contribute to sustainable development of the industry. But what does it mean? We believe that the poultry sector in Bangladesh has a great potential, and we try to accelerate this potential. And we do this by offering all kinds of supporting services. It's first of all, it's demonstrating best practices. What have we learned in the Netherlands, which can be applied in Bangladesh? What are new insights we can share with Bangladeshi farmers, breeders, processors? So that relates to technical assistance. We do that by working together, by establishing demonstration facilities in terms of farms, hatcheries, processing facilities with different parties in Bangladesh. And meanwhile, we combine that with technical assistance, both in Bangladesh as well as in the Netherlands. So, a few examples, and a few parties here around the table have been working already with us in the past years. We are glad that we have been able to establish the first of its kind hatchery waste processing facility together with CASI, technology developed by a Dutch company named Matthias. We are currently continuing trials with Nourish, the Sato Henriksen team is also here, which will continue in the next year on what are the opportunities for scavenging birds in Bangladesh. We are working on establishing a demonstration hatchery together with a company named QuickShix, technology allowing for early feeding at the hatchery developed by Passenvloer. And we have been doing trials with Aftab on how to improve broiler farming. So a few pictures of what has been ongoing. It relates to sharing best practices, training activities on site, but also online. We reach out to breeders, to farmers, both more commercial but also smaller scale. And we will continue our activities within the next year. So by coming Wednesday, for example, we have a workshop for feed milling. We are starting a number of feed mill audits within the next months. We have an upcoming hatchery training program in February next year. So a range of activities. I will not spoil too much, but I would like to urge you to reach out to us, to verify what are your needs, how can we contribute? Because this program is ultimately standing on 2 feet. It's one of them is contributing to sustainable development of the industry. And of course, we would like Dutch companies to be more actively engaged in Bangladesh, both in trade, but also in investment. So I hope this gives you a bit of a flavor of what we are doing. And then I would like to give the floor to Zahed to share a bit his views on the poultry sector in Bangladesh. Thank you.
Thank you, Matthias. I'll try to be as brief as possible. We all know, almost all of you are from the industry. You have a very solid understanding of the current dynamics, but we will be focusing a bit more on the existing challenges because at the end of the day, we are trying to understand what the bottlenecks are, and we are trying to go chart a way forward for the sector. And that would be the main discussion point for our upcoming discussions. If we can move on to the next slide. We all know the importance of the sector. This sector not only contributes to the nutritional requirement of our population because it provides cheap nutritional value, but it also acts as a means through which farmers at the grassroots level, at the bottom of the pyramid, are benefited by engaging in economic activities. The sector has become commercialized over the last 25 years thanks to the integrators, but the story of this sector is mostly about farmers who have been able to grow, who have been able to sustain based on their earnings from the poultry sector. As we know, there are a lot of people involved, 2.5 million people directly involved with the sector and roughly 6 million people who are indirectly engaged with the sector, which shows the overall impact of the sector on the country's economy. In terms of the value chain itself, we know there are existing feed mills who are providing these services, but we all know that this sector is dependent on imported raw materials, which is a major challenge that will be there in the coming future. If you move on to the next slide, please. Per capita consumption, as we know, has been growing due to rise in our income, and it's expected to grow further significantly in the coming years due to the fact that chicken and eggs are a very inexpensive source of gaining protein or nutrition. We'll move on to the next slide. We'll talk about the major challenges that we are experiencing. Next slide, please. As I have already mentioned, import dependency is a major problem. We have to depend on significantly on imported corn, soya meal, which is a major challenge. And given the fact that the economy is going through a transition with depreciating currency, there has been a knock-on effect on our cost of raw materials. Along with that, inflation and price volatility also had an impact not only on the cost side of things, but also the demand side, because there has been a dip in the overall demand for chicken and egg, just as we have seen. And some of the major challenges based on our conversations with the industry players has been in terms of either the import dependency factor or due to the demand supply imbalances, which leads to price volatility within the industry, particularly for DOCs and feed. And this is something that we have to collectively tackle as an industry as a whole. Lack of cold chain is also a major challenge because we are looking to find ways to improve or grow the processing industry, and the cold chain would help out with the process in general. Let's move on to the next slide. In terms of farming activities, biosecurity, food safety are major concerns that we need to address. This will not only lead to higher productivity, but reduce mortality rate and reduce the cost for production. Climate change is becoming a major challenge due to rising temperature, which leads to the impact on the yield at the farm level. And circularity and waste management have been identified as a major challenge. Rendering facilities are just getting introduced in the country, and rendering would play a major role. And we also need to look at the policy level aspects to understand ways to popularize rendering in Bangladesh. And overproduction and export limitations are problems because currently our costing is significantly higher, which means that we are not cost competitive in terms of the export market. We are having to depend on the domestic market, but thankfully our domestic market is big enough to cater, and we have to find ways to increase our productivity, which leads to lower costing. We have identified a few questions. We will have an open floor discussion. I hope our speakers will be bringing up a few issues which have a direct impact on the sector, but I'll be sharing a few key discussion points that we think are relevant. One would be to address the demand supply mismatch in the sector. That we have identified is a key challenge, and this is something that we need to address collectively, and there has to be a systemic solution to that end. Next slide, please. How to enhance sector competitiveness? How do we increase our productivity? How do we reduce our costing in order to become competitive so that more people can afford chicken-based protein? And how can we find ways to make sure the farmers are included into the process and they are able to make money from their farming activities? How to enhance food safety practices within the poultry sector? As we know, poultry sector has certain knowledge gaps which we are trying to address partially through the PoultryTechBangladesh program, and this has to be addressed in order for us to grow sustainably over the next decade. Next slide. How to strengthen the biosecurity measures in poultry operation? This is also one key area where we have been focusing on, and we believe that our industry colleagues would have certain insights. They would be sharing their activities through which biosecurity measures would be enhanced at the farm level. How to promote self-sufficiency in poultry production? That is also a key imperative, a policy level imperative, and we need to discuss about ways through which we can reach in that direction. Growth strategy, and there is an interesting trend of contract farming. We need to understand how effective they are. How do we popularize this further there so that there is a win-win relationship between the integrators and the farmers at the end of the day? How to enhance investment? Since we are talking about co-investment, how can Dutch counterparts, Dutch investors, Dutch partners contribute to the growth of the poultry sector? We would also want to know to that end. How to propagate circular economy? We have talked about rendering facilities. We need to understand how to make this more circular, so that we adhere to the climate standards, so that we can find ways through which we can also help the environment and help in the fight against climate change. I will stop here. I believe we will have a number of interesting speakers who will be coming here for the upcoming session, and after that we'll have an open discussion where all of you would have the opportunity to share your perspectives. Thijs, over to you.
Yes, I think we remain back to our place and have allocated some time for our distinguished speakers. So yeah, let's move on, and then we open the floor for both people here on site, but also online to ask questions. All right. So then it's time for our speaker. We have a great lineup here, and gentlemen, it's all gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining us here today, and we are pleased that we have you here to allocate time to share your views on the perspective of the poultry sector for Bangladesh in the next 10 to 15 years. So do we have a specific besides? Yeah, with Thijs. So Thijs, your perspective on behalf of the embassy. Thank you. You guess you would like to have a microphone. So you think of one?
So, yeah, good afternoon to you all again. To become nice being here in the State Western Forum, and indeed it's an honor for me to be here. Why? First of all, because we are here with friends, and also because we are with our esteemed guests from the private sector and government available, and also Larive, and I'd like to thank them for organizing this event. And it's a timely event because we all know that Bangladesh is in change, and I guess the poultry sector reap also the benefits of the change. Because this time we can improve ourselves, improve our sector. I'm very happy to have the leaders here and further discussions. I saw 9 topics to be discussed. I guess that's rather optimistic to address them all during this session, but it is try to find out how we can combine our efforts, our knowledge. In the Netherlands, we have around 47 million chickens, poultry, in Bangladesh, 330 million. We have 10 times more population, so there's some room for growth in Bangladesh. And then you know that you need more chicken and of population. That if you want to come to self-sustainability, you can still increase the production. And that's where we're here for, where we can support you, and there we can also have our Dutch companies engaged. It's also the poultry sector is apart from, of course, being a source of income, source of livelihood, also a source of protein. And we all know that in Bangladesh there's still lack of affordable protein. So, and especially sustainable protein. And I guess that's a topic to be discussed here today, to see how we can transform the sector in income generating self-sufficiency, also in a high quality protein for the people. So this is for the Netherlands. We have come a long way. The place I grew up was near Barneveld. There is a specific type of chicken called Barneveld, and I guess it's also here in Bangladesh available. So we used to have poultry, a big poultry name in the Netherlands. Although now we take over by the United States, but still we are here and cooperate with you, but also to see business opportunities for the sector, as well as the Dutch companies that are here and want to invest. I'm very happy to have a colleague of the
Bangladesh poultry sector represents not just an area of focus, but a shared commitment with the future. And we believe that together we have the opportunity to create a roadmap that not only address immediate challenges, but also pave the way for treating sustainable poultry industries that serve as a model for the future. So in closing, we want to emphasize that this task of strengthening and making this value chain more sustainable is ambitious, but it is also achievable. The poultry sector potential, drive economic growth, improve food security, and unfree community is the difference. But we think that by making it government, private sector, development partner, we can unlock this potential sustainable and future. Thank you again for inviting us, and thank you also for
Thank you, Mr. Baat from World Bank, for sharing your views. I think it's now time also to open up the roundtable session itself. So we would like to learn about your perspectives. If I may share a few takeaways already. We got from our speakers here already quite a lot of directions. Thijs sharing some views on that there is a huge necessity for more affordable, sustainable produced poultry products, and that the Dutch, with their leading position, actually could contribute. Dr. Khaled, while the Bangladeshi government emphasizing price stability, and that is something which was also mentioned a couple of times by Mr. Khaled on behalf of the association, amongst others, to bring together supply and demand. Mr. Rahman here next to me also mentioned that setting up all kinds of policies is relevant, but enforcing them and implementing is even more important. So, combination with the smart solutions such as solar, I think that's an interesting one. Then, it's about mentioning that you are already active in the industry, amongst others, with accelerating food safety and mobilizing investments set together with IFC. I think that's all very relevant. So, having said and taking into account the current challenges the industry faces, but also looking ahead for the next 10, 15, 20 years, taking into account what Mr. Rahman on behalf of the Paragon Group mentioned that by 2020, so only 20 years from now, 25, Bangladesh will require double the production in order to match an estimated demand. So there's a huge opportunity. How are we going to realize that all together as industry, as government, and research institutes, financing institutes, and to take the words of Thijs Woudstra, to realize affordable, sustainably produced poultry products in Bangladesh? I think that is the main question, and what is necessary from a technical, commercial, financial, regulatory perspective in order to achieve this. How shall we process that? Shall we give the floor to certain people?
Sure. Sir, we have a slot for you. But we have a slot for you at the end once you hear from all the perspective, but feel free to share your perspective. So we will start with Mr. Shah. We are really grateful that you could make time for us. Thank you for joining us. We will start with you, with your perspectives on how to make a more sustainable poultry sector. So, sir, over to you.
Thank you for inviting me personally and all the stakeholders here. It's, I think, one of the best gatherings where we get to share our frustrations, our hopes and aspirations around them. If you don't mind, you might if I won't come sit so that I can look into your faces. Easier for me. Anyway, that's okay. Right? No. So basically, I've been in this sector for the last 30 years, and in our industry, there are inspirations like Mr. Moshiur Rahman, Khaled, many others. We started industry almost in, around the same period of time. We've come a long way, but talking about sustainability, there are, first of all, I always would like to mention that we don't need to reinvent the wheel as far as Bangladesh. We can follow examples of the West, but even Southeast Asia, where they have been able to implement sustainable models. So I think, yes, we do need think tanks, but we do need to also look at what the successful countries or markets have done. Basically, I feel that very important in my experience is that there's a lack of coordination among the stakeholders, the industry, the government, the ministries, the market, intermediaries. It's all easier said than done. So I think that we should work towards the goal of bringing all the stakeholders together, because ease of doing business is something that attracts investors. And as far as our industry is concerned, I don't want to talk about other industries, but as far as our industry, the ease of doing business index is very high. This needs to be more training. One hand, we're talking about foreign investment, FDI around that. On the other hand, the tariff structure, the duty structure, it's horrendously messed up. Sorry to say, foreign listening. If our corporate tax is 15%, we are paying 40% corporate, even more. We are paying, for heaven's sakes, AIT while we import raw materials, advanced income tax. Nowhere in the world, the concept of AIT is there. This is the failure of the revenue collection authorities that we have to face these kind of things, where we are having to pay advanced income tax. Irrespective of whether you make a profit or not, we are having to pay advanced income tax. Unbelievable. I can go on and on and on, but I think that we need to bring all these stakeholders at play. And if the advanced income tax is taken away, we have talked to NBR, we have talked to other government agencies. I understand the limitations and all that, the lack of leadership, but I think the nation is moving towards a good path, and I hope that you can all chip into that. But we have approached the National Board of Revenue saying that as far as the industry is concerned, Mr. Khaled would be able to say best how much of fund is stuck with the NBR in terms of national advanced income tax. And that is supposed to be adjusted with our corporate tax, whether you make profit. Even if you don't make profit, there is a minimum income tax that you have to pay in advance. So the question is that this industry is basically it's not a very high value chain industry in the sense that profit margins are very low because our consumers are marginal farmers. We are not dealing in diamonds and Rolex watches. We are dealing with commodities which are basic to bookshelf and whatever. So I think the government should prioritize food safety. I can tell you this much, that we have never resisted. I was the ex-president of FIA for 2 terms. I know, and I still know, that we have not resisted any import of feed from abroad. We have not. There are a lot of stakeholders here. You can vouch for that. We have, but in spite of that, in 30 years, not a single bag of feed has been imported into Bangladesh. What does it mean? That our feed is common. The government has issued 30 crore import of eggs. How much has been imported? 16 lakhs? 7 lakhs. Why is it being imported? Every other commodity. We talk about the price of chili from 35 Dhaka to 300 Dhaka. No, it's talking about it. Why are we so obsessed about this product that is the cheapest source of protein? So there was talk about misinformation. I don't know what reason it's going on, but I think that we should focus on how to reduce the cost. Believe it or not, we spend a substantial amount of our time doing unproductive things to run our operations. We need to have ease of business. We need, when we go to, sorry, I think somebody wants me to talk. Anyway, I had some points written down, but I don't want to mention that. But I think we need to bring the stakeholders, which is the industry itself, back end, which are the suppliers, policymakers, the government that is controlling the policies, regulatory support, tariff, this and that. And also, we need to know, as an entrepreneur, as a sector, as an industry, that who governs us. We are very confused. Sometimes we would love to be under Department of Livestock. We are fortunate to have officers like Mr. Khaled, who has always been, for the last 30 years, I personally have found very helpful to my program very often. But whenever I do, Lord is there, he has his limitations. Don't put too much pressure on him. He's trying his best. But thing is that let's not reinvent the wheel. Let's be honest to ourselves, and let's admit that we have, when I say we, I don't say we as in this room, but as a nation, we have failed. Let's accept it. We have failed. We could have done much better. I'll give you some examples. When we import, we have to get radiation certificates. And the suppliers, some of them cry, some of them laugh. What the hell is this? Where do I get this? And it's expensive. Some suppliers walk away. And then if we talk about export, we need to have a clearance of avian influenza. India has done it. Most of the countries around this region have done it. Yes, there is some capability. We can't export it, even if we want to. In some parts, feed export, we have a market for feed export. That has also we have been discouraged. Not by our country, but by neighboring countries. To make a livelihood. So what I'm saying is that we need to stay on the same boat. We need to keep our eyes on the ball, and we need to work together. We don't need to make it too complicated. We know what needs to be done, and we need to bring those stakeholders together and get this thing cracking. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your interesting observations. You have mentioned about learning from our neighbors or insects and fruits. I think this is something we often miss. Looking at what has worked in other places and trying to customize that for the Bangladesh market. You're talking about AIT that has been imposed on the industry, which pretty much impacts the profit margin, which already depends on very slim margins. As we know, all commodity markets or commodity products have very slim margin. You talked about different regulatory requirements like variation certificates and others, which impacts our ability to do well. And you also spoke about the ease of doing business, which is a major problem for not only the poultry sector, but almost all the sectors. Right? We have to work together. We need to team up. We need to work together, grow this sector as a whole.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to continue the roundtable session. Thank you all for your attention, and I would like to open the floor, actually for all of you. So we had a lot of input from our speakers. We had some information from my colleague Zahed on what's the current situation in the industry, what are the key challenges. So I would say enough talking all about challenges. I would like to learn a bit about solutions, opportunities. So who would like to take the floor? Yeah. There we go. Yeah, you can stand, you can sit, whatever you feel is comfortable.
I'd like to talk about this sector opportunity base, and I want to link it with the sustainable development goal. So there are 17 sustainable development goals. I'll link all this. The first is affordable and clean energy. That I always appreciate the effort of our industry leader, Moshiur Rahman sir. He has already shown and proved how this clean energy can produce from this poultry sector, and he has already shown us how to do it. But still, there are some gaps on that, which I want to talk at this moment. In fact, in breeder farms, we all know for the minimum capacity of breeder farm, if we build, it takes more than 10 to 15 acres of land. And within these 10 to 15 acres of land, only 2 to 3 acres is used for the building construction, and the rest are the empty area because of the setback rule. So even that empty area we cannot use for the vegetation. It's completely prohibited for the biosecurity. So what we can do, we can use this for clean energy production, especially the solar power, which already our Moshiur Rahman sir is the pioneer on that. Still, there is a gap. The gap is if we have a 80,000 PS capacity farm that actually requires 10 to 15 acres of land. And we can produce more than 3 to 4 megawatt of power from solar. But because of the government regulations, we cannot produce more than 400 kilowatt from that farm. So we have the opportunity to produce 4 megawatt, but we are producing only 400. Why? Because of the net metering system. The net metering system at this moment in Bangladesh allowing 70% of the connected. So if this 70% of the connected load is the solar panel we install in the rooftop, so still this is not enough for us. And we have the opportunity to produce more power. There is a gap for the regulatory issue, as if we go beyond that power production, we have to consider as the industrial power producer or the power plant. Considered as power plant. But all the breeder farms, as we know, it is having enormous of land. If government can come with a proposal or a solution that especially for the breeder farms or the layer farms, those who are having huge unused land, they can give special permission to those farms to produce more power, and that will be considered as the net metering. Because if we use by our own for 4 megawatt, we cannot use or we cannot consume that power for our purpose. So it can come with the net metering. This is my first proposal to the policy authority, policy making authority here present, our General Secretary, sir, and directors from the DLS. And secondly, I want to link the SDG 9, which is industry innovation and infrastructure. As we know, this sector has developed a lot since 2010. Before 2010, there was a very limited access to information and technology. And before that, we have been using the traditional farming like the open house farming and others. But after 2010, there is a massive changes that come with the ventilation system and the climate control system. And we have already adopted that systems. Also, we have adopted some high technology, supervisory systems like SCADA and some other systems. But still, what we found the gap in the infrastructure development, like this structures which are being built is really headed by the designers or not, or in the design phase, whether is there any skill or professional designer was involved or not. That we have to look into, even during the construction phase, whether our construction is being done based on the international guidelines or the BNBC and other guidelines or not. And also we have to think about the conservation of energy, whether we are thinking about the net zero and decarbonization and other things in our structures. So that we can consider for this. And for the last one on the list is this SDG goal 12 and 17, which I want to merge together, as this is the responsible consumption and production and partnership for the goals. That why we need to go for the responsible consumption and responsible production. Actually, those who want to produce responsibly all the products, But at the end of the day, if they don't get the benefits from the consumers or even the support from the consumers, not the zero discharge. But I consider the feed and poultry industry is almost zero discharge industry. What we can do, in fact, because nothing we can leave to the earth. Everything we can recycle or reuse or we can reduce. There are so many sources and opportunities. Again, I want to highlight the initiative of Moshiur Rahman sir. He has made all these in his farm already. It is introduced in his farm that this poultry manures, which actually sometimes cause the environmental problems, badness and others. But if we control it to produce fertilizer, that can enhance the bottom line. So there is a chance for making it, but this biofertilizer production facilities are expensive. So we need government support for making it, or if there is any subsidy for these types of equipment that can enhance or that can actually attract the investors to buy these types of equipment for the global or for the protection of our planet. So another thing is the hatchery works and processing costs, which is the rendering plant that can be used for our hatchery works and our processing plant works. But why this is not going on, or why this facility is too small in scale, and why it is still in experimental phase? This is my question. Maybe there are some reasons behind that we did not even point out. So I would like to request our listening to look into that, why it is not become popular. So there is a reason. What I can say, one of the reasons behind is not having the scale of the microbes, or the quantity we are dealing with is not suitable to set up a large plant. So this is because of the oil market. In Bangladesh, we are not actually used to have the processed chicken, or sometimes the people like to buy the chicken from the local market and slaughter it in front of them, and they consume it. But this is not a process, and it's not a commodity. So if we go for the hygienic things and go for the cost-oriented things, first of all, we have to close down the wet market. If we close down the wet market and all this, more than 90% of the only 10% we can, or less than 10% is covered in the mechanized form. So if we go for mechanization and if we close down the wet market, eventually, if all these poultry is come in a slaughterhouse, that will be a large scale of byproduct that can be used for producing the poultry meal or feather meal, etc. And that will eventually be used in our feed as raw material. So that can give us the supply of poultry meat, which currently we are importing from outside. That will even save our foreign currency. So that's all about. I don't want to take more time. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Thank you, Amadou. Number of very concrete recommendations with respect to policy, amongst others. net metering, how to efficiently use lands, which currently apply to biosecurity. Can we do this? Could we also apply solar systems to this? And secondly, you have the others. The second one I would like to highlight is how to transition towards controlled poultry slaughtering instead of wet markets. I think I have two very interesting suggestions. Anyone else who would like to address his or her views? Yes, of course, Mr. Rahman.
Yeah, thank God. This is the sector we can claim zero carbon company. Any of poultry farm, we can claim as a zero company and we can produce our own power. If we think from the beginning, we can use our waste, and from that waste, we can easily get at least 25% power from our waste gas, convert as a gas, and run our generator. And for net metering, yes, you're right. Government is giving 70%. But there is a process going on already from poultry sector. We don't have for Larive and for DLS. Maybe they can put it because already solar renewable committee, they are thinking how the excess land can use, who is capable to use. For them, the new rule is coming very soon because almost like 33 solar project already declined last week back. After that, they say how we can multiple these other people who is waiting for their own power. And anyway, so you can use your gas for 25% from your solar. You can get at least 35% of power, and rest you can go for RME. So you can easily 60 or 70% power you can produce your own if we take from the beginning and design our farm. And if you more think about your more smart your farm, so rest 40% you can produce for your own solar or use for your own purpose. No need to net metering. So if you do like this way, maybe you can run your project 100% and you can claim your company is zero carbon. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rahman, for contributing the feedback from the room. Who else would like to share some thoughts? Yeah. Maybe person, someone else would like to take the floor. Yes, sir, go ahead.
Thank you very much for inviting me. Actually, this is not just for the observation information. You know, day by day, the contact farming and also the integration. So we haven't known any headache about integration. Integration is the whole energy company deal with all the operations. But I'm thinking about the contract farm. So many big, especially pig and chicks producer, they already started the contract broiler farming in several states, Bangladesh. But here, one thing is they supply the feed, they supply their chicks, and also necessary vaccine medicine. But one thing we have to use from that litter management. So if the litter management is a way out the rules. So the company who are produce contract farming, so they have to be responsible for their litter management. So if we do that, that will be actually our target. We go for the less carbon emission gas. This is one observation, and another is the supply chain issues. So actually, the supply and demand is a relay race. If any component just throw out from the chain, it is down. This I have an observation. You know, the egg price is high. Sometimes the meat price is there, but we have to find a cause. So according to my actually analysis, causes is actually maybe some component already absent here. Here is actually DLS so we think this data according to the DLS, GP grandparents of farm is I think more than 20 as here as their licensing. But we think all GP farmers are not important. They have to take their license, but they are not in operation. So they are not in operation. That this component, main component is the parent stock chicks. So this component is fully absent last 6 years to 6 months to 1 year. For this gap, farmer want their commercial chicks or the PSCs, they are not able to just supply it at right time. So the egg production also be delayed. So in these delays and shortage of the supply chain in parent stock and as well as DOC, so the price are increasing. Actually, whole the price is the actually gives the demand and supply. So if we are in every component, supply and demand currently actually run, I think the price is the market. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your perspectives. I think you brought up a few interesting issues, particularly related to contract farming in general, and litter management is also within the purview of tackling climate change. I would like to go to Mr. Nazrul, who is the General Secretary of PR as well as the Supply Chain Director at PCI Founders. Sir, over to you. We'll appreciate your comments and opinion.
Thank you very much to give me the opportunity. See, as the General Secretary of Feed Industry Association, last couple of years we are working with Paragon Livestock, Fisheries and Livestock. So few difficulties, though we have worked together and Paragon Livestock and Ministry has tried their best, but is still not able to solve. One is, so there is no country in the world who sell feed in the good bag. It is not because the quality, because if we sell our product in the good bag within few days, the climatic condition like Bangladesh, which at least remains 70 to 92% of humidity, 7 to 10 days, the feed quality will be lost. So this is one thing we will address properly. Second, another issue is the burning issue for DSTL. So we have got the license from Department of Livestock. They are our monitoring authority. But simultaneously, another department came and they are also right now with our licensing authority and feed testing authority. This is a conflict of the two government department. So there is no evidence in the world, the country, that two department governs one this industry. So this is also we are trying to resolve, but unfortunately we couldn't solve it. So hope this will also take into consideration that who will monitor, who will govern this industry as from the government. Second is what I found that chromium percentage in feed. This is all another also interesting. The norms are fixed 0.4 ppm per kg. But the European standard itself is 3.5. China is 4. So I don't know that by mistake it happened that one dot has fallen on 0.4. It becomes one dot by mistake or it has happened. So what I require that we are working jointly in the revision of Feed Act. I think that it can be concluded with the Feed Act and can be resolved very quickly. One of our senior leader has addressed one problem, the radiation certificate. You know, everybody I think aware about how the radiation thing come. The Chernobyl incident was in 1986. So it's still few countries follow. Actually, there is a zone of radiation. The zone from which zone you import any product, you have to abide by this law that the radiation norms you have to follow. Unfortunately, Bangladesh doesn't import. I observed few years Bangladesh doesn't import anything from Ukraine. But if you import from US, if you import from Brazil, Argentina, you have to blindly follow this law. And here, any other country, you import, you have to follow this law. So I think this is the time we should reconsider it, that everywhere we should not blindly follow. We are not against the radiation. Definitely we take care, we safeguard our nations, but not blind. Secondly, one topic has come, the supply and demand mismatch. So there is a discussion jointly going on with DLS, the that we should consider the for egg storage facility, because historically we know which is the time for the high demand of egg and which is the time for low demand of egg. Unfortunately, when the low demand comes like December onward to February, the egg price is historically low. So if we can store that time, egg farmer will get the right price, and whenever we see the size of the demand goes up, it will balance it. We are not saying that we will store for a long time, but this storage will help to mismatch the supply and demand. So from the industry end, another is TDS. So one side government is advising us to buy from the marginal farmer for their product, so that we give them the right price. But unfortunately, when we want to buy from the farmers, we have told that we have to deduct the tax deduction at source. No farmer doesn't have this PIN and B number. So how we can buy from the farmer? We cannot buy literally. Outside government is saying, so you buy, give the right price to your farmer, but due to the law we cannot buy. So what we ask that we should reconsider it. That TDS, of course, we want to comply with the government law, but it should be such a way that we can do it. So again, I am requesting you for the policymaker to propose to the government authority that to withdraw the TDS from the margin, buying from the marginal farmer. So I'll not talk much. Then Mr. Khaled and Zubair will remember that we came and everything else we are talking. So this will be taken to consideration. Thank you.
Thanks to learn about the FIAP's perspectives and a lot about policy and how things can be smoothened and bring supply and demand, which are, I think, all relevant. I would like to change the subject a little towards private sector, private investments. And so what I learned today is that within the next 20-25 years, consumption is likely to double, and we have quite some challenges how to overcome this. So I think you all in the business, actually, you all like to be part of this growth model for Bangladesh. Question: if you would be able to invest $1 billion US in the Bangladeshi livestock industry, what would be the top 3 items you would invest in? Who would like to answer this question? Maybe Mr. Khaled, you're one of the more experienced people here and one of the leaders of the industry. So imagine tomorrow, $1 billion US, and you can invest it. I mean, what are the priorities for investments for the industry? If you would prioritize 3 items.
Currently, I don't know. I don't think I can invest $1 million or $1 billion for example.
Now, but it's towards the roadmap for the next 15 years.
So if you give us $1 million, So $1 billion. So what I give the first emphasis, as we are a imported country, we import 65 to 70% of our raw material from the poultry industry. So few countries have done this facility like Pakistan. So what they have done is with the help of US, they have invested huge storage facility and silo at the airport. So if I get $1 billion for poultry industry, first I invest for storing facility like our port. So we can jointly import material in the low cost and we can reduce our production. So from that is my answer from the I think that.
All right, that's the first one. What would be the others? Please go ahead.
Very good question. Actually, this is a huge currency, but I always prefer the marginal level farmer. If the marginal level farmer are happy, industry will be happy. So nowadays, in every year, the environment temperature increases 1 to 2 degrees Celsius. I think within a very short time, with 3 to 4 years, our marginal farmer who near their poultry in the open shed management, they are not able to get any profit from this management. So if you just give this amount of the money, then we are thinking about the mechanization and modernization of the small shed, like the environment control, fan, cooling fan, like that. A pilot phase will be formed, and here is the marginal farm. Then I think it will be at one sense the productivity will be increases, and also the management system will be increases. So now a crucial moment, supply and demand, and also the product price may be controlled. Thank you very much.
Excellent. So first one would be invest in storage capacity, if you import raw materials.
Third one?
Yeah, second one is then invest in farming, so to become more marginal farmers, also farmers to become more resilient if climate change. Peter, you had third suggestion. Go ahead.
My third suggestion is to invest on the training on the marginal farmers. That is very crucial. What I have seen in the marginal level, I have visited so many farms last couple of years, and what I have observed, their knowledge in rearing the birds is totally traditional. So with this traditional knowledge, they cannot get more yield. So we have to make them educated. This might be the third emphasis. Thank you very much.
This is a very important point. We also have representative from Roundtable. Right? Maybe you can also share your perspectives, experience on training farmers.
Thank you so much for inviting me. Yeah, I do fully agree with you. That small to serious farmers. You know, most of the farmers in the this particular farmers, they are very poor. They are heavily dependent on the feed. They buy everything from the feed dealer and they have to invest after. So they give emphasis on the economic day rather than. So what is our target? Our target is to rapid increase of poultry by minimizing the risk of disease of both poultry, livestock, and human. This is our target. So small to medium scale farmer, they know about the biosecurity, but they are reluctant to. You have asked this question. No, here the target is biosecurity, but why you are not doing it? They say our neighbors are doing this generation after generation, and they are slow. And sometimes this is Bangla style. We are very much resistant in this. But who knows?
then maybe pandemic are waiting for. If like the agent if we are getting the destroy the system. So we said right in that we have to educate the farmer and we have to make that kind of thing. You are very happy to know that in the world for you have conducted 24 training sessions for the small group which is permanent of them. And we impact, they assess the impact of the training and we found it very well. After the training, before training and the after. So I say now we are the field receptor. We are able to go to the field, function with the partner. So in order to produce the sustainable poultry, Bangladesh, the dead yields because we say day by day, even in the single day, the morning time, the diversity in the morning and evening, even 5 Dhaka per kilo in the morning to the afternoon. So you are all on the industry people. So you have to also motivate the field dealer. Field dealer plays I believe the field dealer is a key actor in this sector in Bangladesh. Key actor, particularly in the food trade. So we have to take care of it. DLS and the Ministry of the Livestock and Fisheries have the many policies, but I did not see so many policies but implemented in the field. For instance, as far as I know, the registration of farm is mandatory. But I strongly believe that less than 10% farm are registered in the government system. If I am wrong, and there is no particular poultry farmer and the fielder never follows any rules. If they think that I will establish a poultry farm with 500 seats tomorrow, they can start. They do not take any certification from anyone. Even the small scale farmers do not believe veterinary. They believe on field. And they use unnecessary antibiotics from the past day. From the very past day, I can see from 2007 to 2002, I can see that most of the farmers uses antibiotics in the past without any. So I would like to request poultry industry people and the traders to try to implement laws, policies, of course. There is no implementation, and we are Bangladesh people. Without enforcing, we are actually elected to implement the law. So we have to invest for the livestock, not for the poultry or livestock. It is necessary for our if a pandemic happens in the future, like COVID, we have been faced in the last 4 years, 3 years before. So if even in the zoonotic is like even the habit, particularly highly dense people start like Bangladesh, it will be massive. So I'd like to request the authorities, that is the Ministry of Livestock and Fisheries, take a holistic approach to save this industry. We can increase the poultry, number of poultry, but we also increase the more scientific farming system. That's all about.
Thank you. And indeed, antibiotics is a big issue in not only Bangladesh, but also in Southern Asia. We see the highest levels of antibiotics usage in the world, being this part and the Indian subcontinent. I would like to ask Howard, on behalf of the Dutch Embassy, perhaps you would like to share a few words on what you think is required for sustainable development in the next 10, 15 years. If you would address one or two key recommendations, what will be your perspective, Howard?
Thank you, Matthias. Though I am not a poultry specialist, but somehow I am working in this field for last 20 years, more than 20 years. I try to work with this poultry value chain. I definitely work with these smallholder farmers at the grassroots level, and also I have the different capacity. That's why I was also working with our industry leaders. I know many more. So one thing, if there is huge potential, I believe the governance is still a problem. The governance, if I say in the macro level, there are good policies, there are, but implementation of that policy always challenges. In paper, the policies are very good. In Bangladesh, if we go back to the Livestock policy 2007, the poultry policy, the feed policy, these are excellent documents. But what is the in practice? There is a huge gap. And if I see in critically, the violation of policy in every step. It is by the smallholder, it is the big industry, it is the government authority. There is so governance is a one big challenge. I strongly believe if we can improve this governance, the sector will be different. The other thing, the modernization of this sector. Here, still we are somewhere we are primitive, but we have also very world-class poultry industry also. Full automation is there. This circular thing is there, but it is not equal. There is a we have to think in different way. We should not compare the Bangladesh society with the European society. In any way, Bangladesh whole agriculture economy depends on the smallholder farming. And my observation is that who are a smallholder, they didn't grow in that way. No smallholder farmer or medium farmer came out and become a big industry. Why? I don't know. Even sometimes people are telling access to finance. Even there is access to finance, but still it is not happening. So here, as a whole sector, there is a capacity gap in different level. For example, in case of feed industry, in the feed industry there are about 300 feed industry listed. If you consider the capacity, it's completely differentiated. So here we need more, I think, capacity professionals. Like if you see the training module in different level, in the Upazila level, sub-district level, Jubana, DLS, their module still they are following what was written 30 years back or 40 years back. Even who are giving the training, whether they have that advanced knowledge, whether they have this modern knowledge capacity. If I see in Bangladesh, we take this The TLS is the main stakeholder who are providing this training in the all level. But if you see these officers, once they got the training in the by education, what they got, this is the basic education and this is the last education. But the modern science, poultry science, it is more faster than this. In the university curriculum, it is still in traditional type of thing. Now what is happening? Who are running this industry, big industry, very modern industry? Everybody has to depend on the very external expert. If they have problem in case of the field machine, they have to hire the external. If they face problem with some other the automation or this, there is no capacity in Bangladesh to support this. Like you were telling about this, converting this solar energy or integration clean energy. So it is not only capacity of farmers, rather the main service providers, they need also more capacity. And traditionally, our university curriculum, the professors, most cases, they are also just rounding in I say some sort of traditional farming system. So here, the capacity building is also very important if you would like to see the industry next level. And the challenges, what is coming, we have to have equipped ourselves to meet the challenges. And in case of investment, so yeah, there are still potential. There are many actors in Bangladesh who has capital, but they don't feel confident to invest here because who are running this, they are facing a lot of challenges. And all the systems should be synchronized. Like we heard from this, the corporate tax 40%, AIT, but there are other things. So this when export import is coming, there are many things which need some adjustment. So for all things, there are many things we have to adjust in policy and regulatory system. And capacity in all levels we need to build up to cater the future potential. And I do believe if we grow rightly, we have a big market inside our country. The growth is projected 7%. If it is 7, even 5%, still per capita consumption is 8 kg to 9 kg now. People are expecting it will be 20 kg in 10 years or 15 years. So huge market potential is in Bangladesh. But even we have also potential to export especially in Muslim country. We can brand it as a halal made as a Muslim country if we have that capacity. There needs many more compliances. So 10, 15 years, if we really target that, we have to work in different level. We have to set this standard, targeting this by 2050. We would like to, poultry would be one of our export items. Then the industry will be different. The investment plan will be different. The capacity needs to be developed in that way. Thank you.
Excellent, Harumi, thank you for sharing these views. We also have, I mean, this is a Dutch Bangladeshi party here today, so I'm also like to give the floor to one of the Dutch represented companies here. We have Hendrix Soso. So perhaps, Dylan, you would like to share some views on what you have seen in other markets in Asia, what are best practices. So recommendations for the development of the Bangladeshi industry based on your views in other markets. Perhaps you can share a few words. Thank you, Dylan.
You want me to share something about the recommendation to?
Yeah, based on what you've seen in like Vietnam, Thailand, other markets where you're doing business, and then take it from the perspective of, okay, what would be your recommendations for the next 10, 15, 20 years for the Bangladesh reefs?
Okay, so it's not an easy question, because all the markets in Asia are pretty different. I think, for example, there is a market where the poultry is consumed 100% processed, like in Philippines. There is market where they ask a particular product, like local phenotype product, color chicken local, the local phenotype, like in Vietnam, in Indonesia, or in Cambodia or Thailand, for example. There is also in Bangladesh and Pakistan, where here you want something more similar to local chicken, so Shonali Bangladesh or Desi chicken in Pakistan. So here, Saso, we develop a product named Sasoli, yes, to fit with the Shonali demand. So which is so you mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, so Shonali is a crossbreed between Payumi and Rhode Island. Yes. So we developed that at Saso. We source some Payumi breed from Egypt. We cross it with our Rhode Island from layer, from 100 layer. And we developed this pure Shonali breed. So we introduced it with Kazi Farm in Bangladesh in 2007. And it was a success at that moment, but after the Bangladeshi market changed and asked for a product a bit more fast, so we changed the product. Now we have something colorful, so still inspired by the Shonali, because Shonali is colorful, but faster growth to 1 kg 42 days. So some companies are using it. But yeah, what can I recommend to Bangladesh market, and what are my predictions? That is really difficult to answer. I know that in 10 years, 15 years, you will still be attached to taste and quality of the meat. But for me, it's part of our pure culture. It's you eat chicken curry, you like chicken curry, and in 10 years you will continue to eat. So to cook it, you need to have good quality meat. Better to do it with colored chicken compared to do it with white broiler. So this demand will still be there, but now it's never easy to predict the market, especially long time like that. So it's my answer.
Thank you, Dylan. Actually, a few investigations. In the interest of time, we will try to wrap up within the next 10 to 15 minutes. We are seeking comments from our private sector partners. We have representation from Akij, Planet Agro, and other private sector players. We are opening up the floor for you to share your perspectives and views on ways to strengthen the sector. Anyone who wants to share his or her perspectives? We'll try to be as short as possible, just to ensure we have maximum people get the opportunity to speak.
So, some things. What to say? First, our demand and supply imbalance. It actually created by GPPS in Bangladesh. GP farmers increase their GP according to their desire, but there is no follow any policy.
So, and some company also increase their PS in their farm and their varieties increase. For this reason, increase supply. And other hands, in climate change, hot season and cold season, in the stress, use mortality increase in mortality than market short. That time it create problem and demand and supply. So I want to say in this case, DNS or government should policy to design or define requirement of DOC, GP, PS in future 5 years according to human being population. Next 5 years, 10 years statistical policy, then it can make a good policy and marginal or small stakeholders, farmers should be controlled because in hot season they cannot control their offension in their farms, in boiler farms. They face huge mortality, they face different type of disease. And another problem is disease outbreak. We cannot identify or traceability to why this is outbreak, why from where it started. Traceability, we have no any traceability. So we should identify disease outbreak and prevention policy. Disease prevention policy also we should make. Another problem is vaccine. Vaccine now we have H5N1 vaccine, waiting is 9 and 2 vaccine, but now outbreak is 7 also, but cannot have any vaccine. Another problem, IDS. IDS is great problem now in breeder farms, in boiler farms, in all over the Bangladesh. So there is no IDS vaccine also, but it can we can if we want to produce vaccine or if we want to import vaccine, then we can solve this problem. But in Bangladesh, government or DLS no approve this type of vaccine. So another problem is environment pollution. Different farmers, they are farm make in different place. There is no policy they follow. So for this need government policy. I know about government policy, but farmers don't follow their government policy. Government or DNS needs more manpower also because they should monitor every farms, every rules regulation also. Another things, food safety in poultry, quality meat and quality egg supply is necessary for our health. Antibiotic-free meat and eggs should supply in market, but it's impossible in now because maximum feed millers and farmers use the antibiotics, and some traders also import their additives as a misdeclaration, but they import antibiotics. It should be inquiry on audit. And heavy metal issues, many
Could you,
So another
future loss recommendation, please? Thank you.
condition is heavy metal is tolerable level. Maximum tolerable level is should be declared, and toxin also with different types of toxin in feed, feed and poultry meat and eggs found to toxin level also should control, and toxin level also control. Hence,
Thank you. Daryl, I think you signing. You want to? Yeah. Final comments. Yeah.
So thank you very much for arranging such a nice event. And I just have one remark. Because broiler meat price, egg price has become very sensitive in our market. So government authorities, they are pushing us to sell at a very low price at this moment. So we have, because recently the bank interest rate in Bangladesh is very high. So if we import any machineries, equipments, or any ingredients, we have to pay a very high interest rate. So if the Netherlands government can arrange some funds or allocate some funds that we can, they can allocate and introduce it with few of the banks in Bangladesh. So when we can, when we want to import any machineries or raw materials, we can utilize those funds. Then we can reduce our investment costs or the production costs. So if there is any opportunity, you can look at this matter. So that will really help our industry to move forward.
Thank you for your comments. I would like to move to Mr. Zahedul Amin. Sir, you had a few remarks, I believe, so we would be grateful if you could share them with us.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. In relation to investment point of view, one thing is important, this market infrastructure. Actually, the Department of Livestock Services is going to shift the live bird market from the processing. In that case, the investment is necessary for development of market infrastructure for marketing. Another most important thing is that under the, actually my colleague said, training and capacity building. In that case, Department of Livestock Services is going to implement the certification system that poultry animal husbandry practices, poultry production practices, so that in order to comply the food safety issue and all other health aspects, in future we are going to implement the good poultry production practices in the farmers level, and on that point the farmers will have to have trained for modern poultry production practices. So I'm not put so much. There are some points in the meantime in order to balance the supply chain and the table chicks in the markets. Already a strategy working paper has been approved by the Ministry of Fisheries in Livestock to analyze the capacity of the breeding breeder farms. And based on that analysis, we are working with the help of stakeholders how to rational the table chicks, the number of table chicks in the market in different seasons, so that the price of the table chicks will be sustainable and rational. So the other issue my respected colleagues will be addressed in the June bank or PSCI issue that we already have addressed to our respected ministry, and some of the issues also addressed in the commerce ministry, particularly radiation certificates and other issues we have and threshold levels, maximum decibel limits of heavy metals already we address and say to the ministry how to address this issue with the discussion of the STI, the industry ministry and commerce ministry, so that all of these issues we are very carefully screening and address with the help of
our respective stakeholders how to minimize the burdens of this issue. As for example, two packs, series and others. Because some of the issues, as for example, radiation certificates, it is applied by the import policy order. So if we minimize that, or if we separate that radiation test, we do the test, we must revise the IOP. So there are the issues. We need to revise the policies and guidelines with the help of Ministry of Fisheries and Livestock. So my respected colleagues, thank you so much for my side.
Responding to a lot of comments that came up, and we appreciate your insights and feedback. So we will be going to our guest of honor now. Who has been listening very patiently for the last 1.5 hours. Dr. SM Zobaidul Kabir, Joint Secretary of Ministry of Fisheries and Livestock. So I'm sure you have been able to listen to a lot of different stakeholders. You have absorbed a lot of insight, information. We are looking forward to your perspectives, your direction on ways we can make the poultry sector more sustainable. So over to you for you.
Thank you very much. It's an honor for me here and inviting me. Distinguished guests, from Netherlands Embassy and representatives from different companies and academics maybe here and the organizer. Actually, for a lot of issues has been raised and talked about. To be honest, I have nothing to say now, but definitely I need to say something. From policy perspective, we talk about sustainability policy in poultry sector. What is the topic today? Today's roundtable. Definitely, there are a lot of issues brought by our participants here, and I'm really happy to know and happy to see that we have knowledge what to do and not to do. And I'm talking about all. So what are the role of Ministry of the government? The director from Department of Business, he talked about some policy issues already, and will respond to some comments as well. At policy level, if we think that definitely there are some issues we have to address. If I summarize the ministries, 9 ministries for the organizations, I've summarized. We need to talk with Ministry of Industry, that is PSTI. We need to talk with Ministry of Science and Technology because of radiation that is with the Atomic Energy Commission or India. We need to go to Ministry of Commerce with particular agency that the competitive the agency that is looking for a competitive market, and another ministry, sorry, another organization is BPICC, we call in Bengali. And for jute bag, we need to talk with Ministry of Jute and Textile, and for port issue, that is the Jamarids, we need to talk about India. For animal drug issue, we need to talk with Ministry of Health. For energy or electricity bill, as we comparing with Ministry of Agriculture, we need to go to Ministry of Energy and Ministry of Finance. So I've all about summarize that maybe 1 week before, and I was talking with our advisor that we need to. This is the issue. If we resolve this issue, we need to talk with all these ministries. And she asked me that go ahead. And solve. And hopefully we'll call for a meeting and we'll talk to them and maybe you will be invited over there and they will listen to us. So Ministry of Fisheries and Livestock is not against you. Ministry of Fisheries and Livestock is always for you, to support you to facilitate. And the government is not a business person, and it is not the job of government to do business. It is the job of the government to support you, support the people, the companies or business people with convenient atmosphere in terms of good policy, better rules and regulations. And there are a lot of issues here that I'm not mentioning because I'm dealing with the ministry, what is what, like AIT, electricity, all this. So one thing we can, someone told, I should thank him that what is in our rules and regulations and policies? Are we following those rules and regulations and policies rightly? Ask ourselves, ask ourselves. And number one, and of course there are some problems, that's why we're here, that we need to meet or need to address. So definitely we need to go for, and government will try. Already, I'm from my own experience, I'm telling you, I'm sharing with you that I have sent 2 times or 3 times letter to Ministry of Finance and Ministry of Energy to get rebate on electricity bill. I talked to BSTI and I sent them letter to solve the dual certification issue. I talk to the Ministry of Commerce frequently. We need to talk to Ministry of Jute and Textile, and it's a very issue, and it's very logical what Nazul Bhai said. And Ministry of Science and Technology because of the radiation, and I already sent NBR, National Board of Revenue, about the AIT issue as well as the port, the terminals issue. And Ministry of Health, we can talk about animal drugs, but we are already some of our stakeholders developing the drug administration, the guidelines, and hopefully then we go for this issue. And there is Moshiur Bhai was talking about the policy, and definitely I'm very aware about that. And hopefully I will see also Khaled Bhai will say together that where it is, and it is on the verge of approval, I think. And it is a policies are, so we don't need to go to the Ministry of Law, so we can approve it as possible, and hopefully we'll do that. So I think government is definitely trying to make a congenial atmosphere for all. And you know that it's a win-win situation. And you are the key stakeholder of government of this ministry. And what you understand here on what you have suggested here, and if we follow all together this issue, all these things, it's possible to go ahead. We can make it 40 or 50 years long action plan. And we have poultry, as I said earlier, we have poultry policy. Another one is, so, and also we have to look out of the box, and we are looking for that as well. And that's why we are now talking about vertical structure of our poultry farming, because that is the kind of modernization. You know that Bangladesh is a scarcity of land, or land is scarce country. So we cannot think that there is a land left and we can use it in another way. So we have to go for modernization definitely. Without modernization, it's not. So always think about that. Unfortunately, there is no land exact in the country. Wherever I say, wherever I go, I talk about this issue. So what about the circular economy? What about circular economy in practice in our country? As Moshiur said about the use of waste. Waste is no more waste. It is acid. It is oil. So think about that add value to circular economy. That is the part of practice of circular economy. So if we can do that, we can reduce some cost as well. So another thing here is governance. There is a terminology we know probably, that is self-regulation or self-regulatory activities. That is how an organization regulates itself. So self-regulation is also important, as well as governance. It's not possible for the government to govern a particular organization if that particular organization is not compliant with the locally available rules, policy, and plans. So that means there is a collaboration, there is a commitment to each other. The government will support you, as well as you will support to government by complying with the rules and regulations. So that means we need a collaboration and cooperative attitude, and I hope we have that. We have that. I'm really pleased to know what we did know a lot of things from this discussion. Of course, there is a policy implementation and practice, policy and practice gap, and it is everywhere. And it is the responsibility of the government to develop the policy, and it is the responsibility of the TLSEA, for example, to implement that policy. So when there is an implementation, then it is the responsibility again the government, I mean the ministry, to monitor whether the policy is business and the company or business people friendly, whether the policy is consumer friendly, etc. So if the people friendly as a whole. So if the policy is, so in that way, through monitoring, we can identify the gaps, and that gaps here identified and discussed. And I hope that government is aware of that. I can assure government is aware of that, but we need some time to address. With your support. With your support. And of course, you key stakeholders of this ministry, respected stakeholders of this ministry, and you have a lot of practical knowledge, and you have come up with your experience
experienced knowledge from experience here. So data issue is a big issue. And we have the techniques. And there are some invisible hands in between producer to consumer. And though it is unpleasant to discuss about this issue, but we know that, and that's why sometimes government intervene. They take the support of Ministry of Commerce that is local, and they operate sort of what should I say, court, mobile court or something. So that means trade means fair trade. Competition means fair competition. I'm talking that when basically I'm not expert in this area, but I have a bit expert in my environmental issue. So when a company comply with the environmental issues, and when a company does not comply with the environmental issues, the same company with the two companies with the same production will be loser. The company who comply with the environmental issues. So that means we must have ethical standard. That is fair trade, fair competition. That means we have to comply with all sort of standard to make a fair, competitive environment for ourselves as well. And finally, safe food is my concern. I was in Australia for 6 or 7 years because of my study and working at university. So, it's a fully agro-based country. It's not a developed country, so it is a developed country for a city member. So, our industry, our stakeholders, companies are really trying their best to go for safe food. And definitely we have to go for safe food and with good practice. And what about risk assessment guideline? Do we have at all risk assessment guideline in our companies? Of course. But it's not only related to financial risk, but it can be related to sustainability issue. The risk assessment guidelines or risk assessment can be related to sustainability in the poultry sector. How we can sustain the poultry sector, and if we project, if there is any projection for next 40 years or 50 years, what are the problems? And definitely climate change is a big issue. And you all know probably the National Adaptation Plan introduced by the government. How many ministries are there? Only 4 ministries. Only 4 ministries, and that document suggested $260 billion for next 27 years, that is by 2050. And every year we will need $8 billion, and government is capable enough to provide only $1.5 billion. And next $6.5 billion we have to attract from other countries or donors or from bilateral investors. So that means this 4 ministry, Ministry of Fisheries, Ministry of Fisheries and Livestock, Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Health, and sorry, not Ministry of Health, Ministry of Ministry of Environment is the lead ministry, and another ministry is the Ministry of Relief and Disasters. So that means we are one of the 4 ministries. That there is a lot of risk is there. It's not my words. It's defined, identified by the IPCC panel, where hundreds of scientists from globally
from global retail world, global parts from all parts of the world, they come together, they sit together, and they think. So that's what the four ministries. So we are one of them. That means we are in trade. Well, because of the climate change. So there is a lot of scope or a lot of there are many things to do. If we want to sustain this, we have to face the climate change threat, and we have to face other issues. We have discussed and not mentioned. So that's all. I think I took a lot of time. I'm sorry for that, but it was very interesting to be here, and I must thank the organizers and all of them. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, thank you, sir, for your contributions and disclosure speech and captured many of the topics we discussed today. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a long afternoon. Glad you all made it due to the despite all traffic challenges. I think many topics have been discussed today, and I won't repeat. I would like to thank you for contributing. So what happens next? Larive and LightCastle, we will continue with the PoultryTechBangladesh program, and we focus on the activities which we already shared with you, which are upcoming shortly and also next year. We do hope to see you there. Thank you, your companies, also the non-private parties to go along with us. This is only a drip in the ocean that we are aware of. We try to do our best to be an example of what is possible and to judge the Bangladeshi companies and to support and strengthen this industry. Various examples of the with respect to all the items discussed today, it is our mission that Larive LightCastle capture the most important elements into a policy roadmap for the poultry sector of Bangladesh for 2035 to 2040. So the next 10-15 years. Will be quite a journey because we heard a lot of info. Try to make it into a concise 25-page document. And this is, say, a living document. It's not a solution, because there's no single solution as we have learned today. But there are a number of fair points. Some are short run, others are longer term. But this is a document which then can be applied by your government, the different ministries, all the other stakeholders involved. As such, we're trying to be part of that. We're trying to contribute to increasing investment in trade. So I would like to thank, on behalf also of the Zahedul LightCastle team, thank you all for sharing your insights, being here, especially also both associations who have the BPICC and FIAB, being here, organizing this with us, inviting your members, your network. But moreover, I would like to thank the Dutch Embassy, our loyal sponsor of this whole endeavor. Haruni, Thijs, thank you for being here. Thank you for being our continuous support in supporting me, facilitating the industry to grow towards a more sustainable position. So, having said, we have dinner, okay? And I would like to invite you to join us for dinner, but also meet each other and discuss whatever you like to discuss. It could be towards the sustainable development of the industry, but also day-to-day business. So make use of this network opportunities. And I do wish you to see you into the next moments. Thank you all for being here today. Bye.